officers as well as the Vice Chancellor desired that there should be meetings with all the officers, teachers, and members of the non-teaching staff, so that they express their views about the issues that concern this university. And then the Vice Chancellor also takes sort of an input from the members of the various associations, and then ultimately we'll be also having a internal meeting as to how we can actually address the issues that are raised in all such meetings. I would appreciate that if the issues that are raised are not repeated, because that would be very helpful to us, and then very specific, to the point, accurate issues are raised, so that we also are able to take note of them, and then we also settle for some time frame for the resolution of those issues. I understand that there are going to be certain issues related to officers only, but we would appreciate that the issues that are related to the university as a whole are also raised, and that would be also welcome, that there could be possibly a suggestion from any of you, which may not be directly related to your own welfare or your own the cadre, but they may be, the issue may be related to the university as a whole. Such type of comments are also welcome.
This is the first address of the Vice Chancellor to the officers of the university. It will be a perspectival speech.
Welcome you all, and I would like to extend a heartfelt gratitude toward one and all for your help and support in my endeavor to become the Vice Chancellor of the university. Although I have assumed charge as Vice Chancellor, I still continue to remain a colleague. Ladies and gentlemen, the institution we collectively represent basically sets a foundation on the basis of public service. And the public service requires that the efforts of the teaching fraternity and the administrative fraternity are blended in a manner where individual contributions lose their significance. The spirit with which we look at this arrangement and the respect we extend to this partnership actually signifies the health of the institution. This goes in accordance with natural principles that a healthy body basically is a contribution of a concerted effort by all individual organs, exactly analogous to various administrative units you run and manage. I must put it on record that I really appreciate the efforts put in by all officers in the most torrid times this university has faced. I do not doubt anybody's competence, but it's about time we stop for a health check. While I really am sure and confident and have faith in everybody's competence, the competence does not necessarily restrict to your ability to write, to your ability to articulate, to your ability to manage the office. It goes far beyond that. I strongly believe that we have some limitations with regard to being professional. We basically have become more of officers than public servants. I guess we are morally obliged to raise our standards of administration to a point where we become public servants. The best of the best gifts that I have gotten over the last 7-8 days in my office is that when a group of casual laborers entered my office with certain problems, what they said was that we do not need any addressal of the problems. We've already gotten them addressed because you let us in the office and made us feel very respectful and comfortable. That is the level of standard we really want to raise to be of any significance to society. Otherwise, the society will lose faith in us. And I actually would appreciate all of us, irrespective of whoever enters their office, to treat him respectfully, to actually listen to him at least, whether or not you are in a position to address his problems. That is the kind of standard I really want here. We basically are servants of the public. We're not officers. We're officers in our own cadres and within our own systems. I think the attitude has to be such that we motivate others. Attitude has to be such that we appeal to others and earn respect from both seniors and juniors. And that is the kind of job I really want you to do. I am not here to, as I said, doubt your competence. I am not here to give sermons about administration. You guys are pretty confident and pretty competent in that regard. But I am here only to impress upon you that we are a public service institution, and that we somehow have forgotten. And one more thing I really want to stress upon is that what I have noticed over the last 10, 15 days, that everybody works individually. Everybody works nicely and carefully, but they work in an individualistic manner. And that is what is hurting this institution most. There is absolutely no coordination between one department and the other. That I just want to, we want to put things into place where we have reasonable amount of, coordination between various administrative units, such as we basically start doing something concrete for the university per se. With these few words, I don't want to basically I'm not comfortable with making lectures, but the fact of the matter is that I'm all ears. One more thing I really want to be telling you is that as a gesture of responsibility from the officers, I basically have decided that as officers, we would start putting in the digital attendance as officers only, up to the level of sectional officer. That would involve me also. I would also go and put in my fingerprint in the office. We already have the system in place. And why not set an example for all? See what happens when we introduce these kind of things and ask our younger staff or ask our lower staff to initiate, they're always reluctant. But as I said, we have to learn to lead by example. If we show up in the office well in time, I'm sure it will trickle down and all the younger staff will also comply. And as a gesture of some contribution towards setting these trends straight, I think I urge on all of you to basically start punching in your attendance, including the registrar and myself. I have absolutely no hesitation in doing that. And that would send a very nice message down the lane. That's what we are here for. We are here to basically motivate the youngsters. But what happens is it's totally the opposite. And that, with those words, I am all ears to listen to you. One more thing, I have also been, over the last 10 days, deliberating with registrar and other office bearers about your problems. I am very sensitive to that. But it seems that we have hurt our mission much more ourselves than the system has. We have not carefully drafted things which could have been done slightly better, such as these problems would not have arisen. But the fact of the matter is that bygones are bygones. Let's start working on making these, your demands, your concerns in a comprehensive manner which defines rationale and logic. And once that is done, I assure you of the fullest cooperation that is in my capacity to take it to any forum and defend on your behalf. Exactly the same way as I depend on you for the running and managing this university, I would be there anytime for your problems to be addressed any place. I thank you very much for being patient. I am there to listen to what individual concerns are, what the concerns of the university are.
At the outset, like uniformly for all employees of the university, number one. Number two, we have certain issues since I am working in the examination. But I will request the Honorable Vice Chancellor that those issues can't be dealt with here and deliberate upon because we have larger issues. So I will request him to have a visit to the examination.
I'm planning on that.
And thirdly, as the Honorable Vice Chancellor has briefed to the press that we will go for the single window system. Let us precipitate in a practical manner. Kindly constitute a committee
Sure.
who will just design the modalities and formalities and so that it is implemented. And since, as you have said, sir, that we are not administrators, we are facilitators. Because we deal with parents, we deal with students and teachers here in the administration. But we have to just dispose of the things quickly, very quickly. It should not take more than, say, 72 hours or 3 days, 2 days, not more than that. But we need overhauling of the system in terms of devolution of powers. Kindly, the Vice Chancellor has power to delegate upon other powers to the various officers so that the things are disposed of at their level. Thank you, sir.
would hand it over to a committee who would actually examine it, and it would be set in motion. As regards visit to the examination center, examination section, I am inclined to do that in the first instance. Number 3 is as regards to delegation of powers, I am all for it. In fact, there was a note which I have already passed on, and the instructions are that the powers have to be delegated. There is no choice. You cannot run everything and manage everything on your own. It is imperative that the powers are to be passed on, but as I said, I don't want to do things in a hush. I don't want to do things, instantaneously. I just want to think about it for a day or two, but, it will be done.
And other police working normally, or it's an effective loopholes in the system. It is not, I can give an instance where we can identify those areas where we are feeling these difficulties, but the feeling, young feeling is there that justice is not being done to the aggrieved or to the society at large. I have a feeling being an ordinary functionary of the industry and dealing with legal matters, I have experienced that most of university employees are particularly dragged in litigation by our university system. I certainly feel that it turned on this account, therefore I would like to suggest that such cases be dealt with before these are sent to statutory bodies or non-statutory bodies or before the authorities for any disposal. So that the message, any officers are there, but nobody is ready to fix responsibility. In such a situation, I would like that responsibility, and sometimes due to the operation that there is apparent opportunities there, favoritism there, so these things needs to be looked by the administration right now.
Grievance committee already in place. We have both committees already in place. Teachers grievance committee also.
Definitely in place. They are definitely in place, but they are not functional. This is the reality. Objective for which they have been instituted. Then most of the problems which are bringing the university to litigations, that would have been functional.
With the permission of the Vice Chancellor, I will basically make things very clear. Be it UGC, be it State Department, be it, say, the Honorable Chancellor and others. Point is that we have salvage in the respect of this university, but it is not the end. We need to actually go further. Students' expectations are increasing, demands are there, so on and so forth. Last word has not been written. But fact of the matter is that at times it creates basically some sort of, say, a self-defeating sense in us that we are not presumably doing good. On our council, we have one of the members who is ex-MHRD secretary, who went on record saying that being a state university, being starved of funds, still then I believe that you are doing a reasonably good job. Having said that, but point is that we can still do better than this. But this should not be the impression that we are not doing good. We are doing reasonably good vis-a-vis the funding that we get from UGC, so on and so forth, but we need to improve on that. This is one. Second, regarding this justice, I have my experience. Point is that it arises basically from, say, certain of the regulations which are not very clear. Unfortunately, those regulations are interpreted at one point in time in a one manner, and then they are interpreted sometime later in a very different manner, which creates problems. Our take is that the guidelines that govern promotions that quickly, and then somehow we need to work basically before taking any guideline to the council. We do not do our homework, we get a guideline from the University Grants Commission, and then all of a sudden place it before the University Council, get it to say approval, and when we start implementing those guidelines, then all of a sudden we run into rough trouble. There are issues with regard to, say, the promotions in library staff, there are issues with regard to promotion of ARs to DR levels, so on and so forth. There are many issues anyway. We should not have been given any say, and most of the cases, they are not given any concession by ultimately the Honorable Court of Law, which somehow vindicates the decisions that have been taken by the university. Now, what do we do is, at times, we issue such type of an order. In a particular case, for 5 long years, the person who was not eligible for the job, he was allowed to appear before the selection committee. Then many things happen, and there are certain things which we motion in terms of recruitment, they need to be addressed and sorted out, so that they are very clear, transparent, and then they carry the same meaning every time. When I am registrar, I that wherever they face these ambiguities, we need to flag them, and then we need to actually know that when I am going to get the promotion, what are the requirements for that promotion? There should be certain places. Accountability is the hallmark of any institution, including university as well. But somehow, just that, what could be the mechanism of accountability in the university? We can have basically a look at it. There could be a free exchange of views, and then ultimately we can put over this.
I just wanted to add, I must have gotten at least 50 statutes revised. How many times, if an individual, an officer, feels that there is an ambiguous regulation, as a responsible individual, accountable to society, he should, from the very beginning, he's recorded a statement, submitted to the registrar, and it would have gotten revised by now. Concerned about development. Anything that pertains to academic, he would only concern about himself in a manner that is cumulative, that is not acceptable. We must account both of us, which is blue stamp. But then things change and keep on happening. But we have remained static or somehow engrossed in what was written in 1920. University, something that can help the society at large, has to be put forward as a responsible officer. Absolutely. Running is everybody's business. I am reiterating the fact, I am reiterating this, that I remain thoroughly professional in these matters. I will still maintain a very nice relationship with an individual who I sacked yesterday. I have no problems in doing that. I will still maintain a very nice relationship with him. But make no mistake about it that if I find him not doing his job properly, I have no reservations in sacking him. And as far as favoritism is concerned, that is not my cup of tea.
It only yes or no. They should write what is to be done. Yes, they should contribute to the knowledge of governance, of good governance, that what they feel should be. This statute is because this is basically, this is a university. Ultimate purpose, goal of this university is quality education, quality research. And is this statute facilitating that, or it is an impediment towards that? This is very important. So you should write on the file, and you should guide your officers what should be done. And this is one thing. Second is that whether it's vice chancellor or the registrar or dean academics or any other who are the officers this time, they should realize that the officers also have aspirations, as we have aspirations. We, from lecturer to reader, we want to become readers, we want to become professors, we want to become vice chancellors. Therefore, we should be also positively disposed towards the officers also. They too have aspirations. Therefore, while dealing with the statutes and while dealing with the rules, we must be positively disposed rather than negative. This is my request to the Honorable Vice Chancellor.
I endorse that.
I have an issue actually. Sir, with the permission of the Vice Chancellor, I have one to add to his suggestion of Mr. Abdurrashid. That as he said that while we have grievance redressal committees for problems of employees, but there is no such committee for the grievances of students.
No, we have it.
The DSW is always...
We have
Undergraduate students who
not you. But for PG we have.
One student of Islamia College who had a backlog in first year, he appeared in second year, then he was allowed to appear in third year when, as per statute, he was not to be allowed. Then his result was put on hold. He went to the court of law, he got the direction, we filed it. A student was dragged to the court in 4 years. I was working in academic, I placed one item in the university council, and university council resolved that the result be declared and letter of displeasure be sent to the principal of the college. By the time principal had retired. So kindly have one committee to have that not to be after courts and students are dragged to the courts. Let us have some committee which will resolve problems of undergraduate students who have dealings with the students.
18 crores are expected normally during the time November to December through examinations. So I would like to take an input from Yusuf sir. what are the cut-off dates for these depositing of these examination forms and fees, so that we roll our budget progressively and do not face any deficit on this account?
As everybody knows that the cabinet had decided that all
Argument, even if Vice Chancellor does not want somebody to have this promotion, he should sit on it. I mean, it is like this.
But once these guidelines were adopted by this university, so उस वक्त फिर promotion to remove these ambiguities, University Council has done this in 86, then again in 99. तो उस वक्त से जो आज तक promotion हुई है उसी के हिसाब से हुई। अब 2008 में जो 2000 simply MHRD draft guideline, उसके बाद 2011 में UGC ने एक notification निकाली है कि we are inviting these suggestions from stakeholders। तो उसके बाद हमें पता नहीं चलता कि वो गाइडलाइंस कब आ गई जो हमने अडॉप्ट की है उस बारे में। अगर उस वक्त वही ग्रेजुएशन की मैंडेटरी पर प्रमोशन पर जिस तरह अल्ताफ साहब ने पॉइंट आउट किया, तो इस वक्त क्या वजह है कि हम ये चाहते हैं कि नहीं वो सुपरसीड हुआ, तो उस वक्त फिर सुपरसीड क्यों नहीं हुआ? Is there any notification supersession to that? Is at this time any notification supersession to those council resolutions? अगर ऐसी बात है, we shall not make any comment.
Just
registrars putting 5 years salaries, 3,700, 400, 6,700 will be given a designation as joint registrars. But at the time of retirement, post will be created as deputy registrar. Let us give the simple solution. Definitely, some person was telling me, no, we have the external control, we have joint registrar posts, open vacancies already here. I think 3-4 vacancies we are having. They are having the grade pay 8,900, whereas the joint registrar, the position, the designation will be given to the deputy registrars. They will be having the 8,700. Let us have the two categories of deputy registrars, two categories of joint registrars. One, 3,700 and 6,700, who will be given the designation as joint registrar, and open selection posts, they will be having the 8,900. This is a simple solution.
Well, but what in the discussion about council and all, I still believe it can be resolved very comfortably. This is my deputy registrars to assistant registrars, and let them make recommendations.
Sir, there is no ambiguity for promotion to assistant registrar. It is just one man. So there is senior most will go. There is no other. There is nothing other thing. Anybody will go there because we cannot take that. There it is written that there is no
assistant registrar. They said that in the guideline it is 50-50. They have suggested that it has to be 75% by promotion and 25% by direct recruitment. We did not change it. We still kept it. Right? Whatever the ultimately consensus was, we did not even change even a single word. Ultimately, once I put it before the joint committee, duly approved by the vice chancellor, it means that we have to defend it there, right? Anyway, but point is that issue is this, that we also basically, I mean, if Jawaharlal Nehru University was compelled basically to make a small change in the wording that basically is there in the guideline, meaning thereby that they must have also faced some difficulty, and isn't it? Now, in the absence of that, I read the promotion among us the eligible assistant registrars, right? If somebody tells me that it is not written there, it's a different situation. Now, from among us the eligible ARs and deputy registrars, it is basically the wording. It is not this that the senior most assistant registrar would get promotion. What has been modified in most of the universities. Now we have put up basically a resolution wherein we are saying that it has to be a senior most basically deputy assistant registrar by promotion, putting in this much amount of service, satisfactory APRs, matter endless there.
That's what I'm saying.
In the absence of a clear basically policy, it always basically becomes very difficult. Now the argument of the defense, one of the persons is that at Azam Day, at that time, I was the only eligible candidate, it makes sense, right? But this argument basically was ultimately made a long time, after almost 1 year, isn't it? Reason is that he also then agreed that yes, this is his interpretation. 25% we have to promote through among us the eligibles. One person is the only eligible candidate. Question of interview and other things does not arise, matter is there.